All right, we here, man. We live. Urban AI, urban artificial intelligence, strategic thinking media platform. We in here, man. We going live tomorrow. It's a big fight, man. Frank Martin versus Tank Davis. It's gonna be a good fight. This fight is gonna be better than a lot of people think. All right, we're gonna get into some specific reasons why Frank Martin, in my opinion, kind of flown under the radar, man. This is a dude that's undefeated. All right, so both these fighters is undefeated, and I'm gonna get into their records and some more of the stats and everything like that in a little bit. But I just want to talk about how first, before we get into deep details, I want to talk about how I read something that I never really paid a whole lot of attention to about how coming into a fight the underdog really has a tougher fight ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of narratives make it seem the other way around, like all the pressure is on the bigger fighter, which is obviously Tank Davis. But some things that I was reading and researching, it was basically saying that wasn't the case. That in this fight, in general, but specifically in this fight, because Tank Davis is so well known that it's kind of like he has to do less. You feel what I'm saying? Like he will need Frank Martin will need a more overwhelming performance than Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a tie or if it's a draw, skill wise throughout the fight, technique wise, he basically Tank Davis will still win. They're gonna give Tank Davis the unanimous decision. It's gonna be up to Frank Martin to come out on top, all right, and really take care of business. Frank Martin is gonna have to win convincingly. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. He's gonna have to win convincingly, which I didn't really take that into account coming up to this fight because they were both undefeated. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a boxing expert. It's people around me and it's people who I have conversations with that know way more about boxing than me. But I do think that with, you know what I'm saying, the proper research and things that I've done and, you know, the tapes and things that I've looked at of both fighters, that I got a pretty good idea. Now, I knew about Tank Davis. I knew about his fighting style. I've seen multiple of his fights. But Frank Martin was the one that I really wasn't familiar with. So it was going to be hard for me to compare them if I only knew about one. But it's interesting learning about Frank Martin because this is a guy who his style is basically the opposite of Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? He's a chill, laid back, defensive fighter. You know what I'm saying? Tank Davis is an aggressive, you know what I'm saying, stocky fighter. Tank Davis want to get inside. He want to get into you. He want to get up on you. He want to get up close with you. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin is different. His nickname is Ghost because he's here, then he's gone. He moved real good. He got real good footwork. But we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna show examples of that as we move along. But before that, let's get into Microsoft Copilot. Y'all know I like to rock with Copilot. You know what I'm saying? Let Copilot tell y'all things that I may not be as educated on. Or to just, you know what I'm saying, check what I'm saying. You know, check what I'm saying and confirm the things that I'm saying you know what I'm saying, are true. So let's talk about it a little bit. Let's get into it. Now, the first question that we're gonna ask is, will Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin be a good fight? Let's see.
The upcoming Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin fight promises to be an intriguing clash. Davis, the WBA lightweight champion and a powerful puncher, faces Martin, a talented fighter who has steadily climbed the rankings. While Martin lacks name recognition, his tactical know-how and skills make him a worthy opponent. Some experts favor Davis, but Martin's style could pose problems. The fight takes place in Las Vegas, and it's definitely one to watch.
Okay, now, as the co-pilot just told you, Davis is the favorite. But as I'm doing more research, more people think Martin is going to win than I suspected. Again, maybe that's because I don't know as much about him. but more people than I expected is saying that Martin is going to win. Now, obviously, he's not the favorite nowhere, but it's a lot of people who feel like Gervonta Davis can lose this fight. You know what I'm saying? Just based off the styles and how different they are. And hey, they have their reasons, man. We gonna get into it. Y'all gonna see how good of a fighter this dude is. You know what I'm saying? We know about Tank Davis. We know what he can do. But let's get into some the strengths of each fighter. Then we're gonna look at some tape. All right. After we get into the strengths of these fighters, we're gonna look at some tape. So let's let co-pilot tell us about the strength of these fighters.
Certainly. Let's break down the strengths of both Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. Gervonta Tank Davis. Power puncher, Davis is known for his explosive punching power. His knockout ratio is impressive, and he can end fights with a single shot.
That's fact.
Aggressiveness, he applies relentless pressure, forcing opponents to react defensively. Speed and agility, despite his stocky build, Davis moves well and can surprise opponents with quick combinations. Championship experience. As the WBA lightweight champion, he has faced tough competition and knows what it takes to win at the highest level.
All right, now let me just stop right there real quick. That's another reason why Davis is the clear favorite. Now, again, not as heavy as I thought, but he got championship experience. All right, he done defended his belt, and he's a champion. You feel me? So those are heights that Frank Martin hasn't reached quite yet, but it's within reach with this fight. So let's keep going.
Frank Martin. Technical skills. Martin is a technically sound fighter. His footwork, defense, and ring IQ allow him to adapt during fights. Counterpunching. He excels at timing and countering opponents. Martin can capitalize on mistakes and create openings. Endurance. Martin has gone the distance in several fights, showcasing his stamina and ability to maintain a high work rate. Underdog mentality. Being less known than Davis, Martin might use this as motivation to prove himself. Keep an eye out for how these strengths play out in the ring.
All right, now, there we go. Now, Martin's endurance may be an issue for Tank. All right. I'm going to say that. Martin's endurance, that might be an issue for Tank Davis. You feel me? Tank is a great fighter. He a great fighter, but Martin's, Tank knock a lot of people out. He knock a lot of people out. You know what I'm saying? He don't go the duration of the fight usually. You know what I'm saying? Now, does he train for that? Probably so. I would expect he would. But Frank Martin, probably from his record and from the type of fighter that he is, he goes more rounds per fight than Gervonta Tank Davis. So let's go to YouTube real quick. All right. Let's look at a video. Now, it's two videos specifically that I want to get into about each fighter. This one is by the modern martial artist on YouTube. Y'all go check this dude out. Rock with him.
Which came against fellow undefeated.
All right, we're gonna get into it. Y'all go rock with this dude, the modern martial artist, and let's see what he say about some things that he say about Tank Davis style.
Defeated fighters. And while Tank has an impressive list of athletic accomplishments, it's his devastating power and underrated defensive fluency that electrifies crowds.
And hey, you hear what he said right there? Underrated defensive fluency. All right, his defense is underrated. He's a good defensive fighter. He's just so aggressive, and he a power puncher. So when you have people that are power punchers, nobody really talk about their defense in certain cases. But usually, if somebody's a power puncher and they knock people out, that's what people are gonna talk about. That's what people are gonna say their strengths are, because that's what everybody want to see. That's what bring the money. That's what bring the pay-per-view. Is niggas getting knocked out. That's what everybody want to see. So that's what they talk about when it comes to Tank. But Tank also can hit you in the body, and he is a good defensive fighter.
Terrifies opponents. With a 93% KO rate, Tank is
all right. 93. That's what I'm speaking to. 93% KO rate. So No, that's what people gonna talk about. How you knock people out.
It's true to his name, and when he hits, it hurts. Davis is a hard-hitting southpaw with the aggression of a brawler, but the nuance of an Olympic fencer. Davis embodies boxing's natural dichotomy, risk versus reward. It's in the way he mixes.
Look at how close he getting to these fighters, man. This is how Tank like to fight. He like to be up in you, in your grill. Look at the, it look like a Philly shell right there that he doing. He get up close. This is against Nunes. He get up close and personal with you. He wanna bang out with you.
Boisterous offensive bursts with subtle, almost imperceptible.
Look at that. That body shot.
With subtle, almost.
That body shot is gonna do damage right there, all right? That hurts. If Frank Martin don't move like he's supposed to, that's what's gonna happen to him. Hey, Frank, nickname is Ghost. You gonna have to be one, my boy. You gonna have to be one. For real. Or that's what's gonna happen to your stomach.
Most imperceptible defensive flourishes. And while Tank's opponents are worrying about the gloved missiles sailing their way,
that uppercut is crazy too. That uppercut is crazy too. That's another weapon that Tank got. Tank got that uppercut. It's crazy too.
The finer details that keep them from landing shots of their own. So while Tank's game appears to be unbridled fury, it's actually propelled by an unmistakable and cold-blooded respect for the sweet science. To start with, Davis loves to lead with a ballistic rear hand. It's a traditional southpaw strategy since it's easier to land against opposite stance opponents.
Look at that uppercut. We got to check that out again. This dude,
to start with,
is a problem.
Davis loves to lead with a ballistic rear hand. It's a traditional southpaw strategy since it's easier to land against opposite stance.
Look at that. Look at his footwork. Look how he twisted his body into that left hand. Look at how accurate that shit is. Right in Buddy Grill. Crazy.
Opponents. But Tank takes this idea to the extreme. While other southpaws incorporate the rear hand like a jab, using it alongside other weapons to set up more punishing shots, that isn't Tank's style.
It's something else I want y'all to notice, man. He's always moving forward. We're going to see Frank Martin. He fight a little bit different. Tank is always moving forward. He's always going forward.
Instead, he launches his rear hands like standalone heavy artillery, exploding forward with little to no setup.
That is how you become a knockout artist. Obviously, like he said before in the video, that's risk versus reward. Because y'all see he missed some of those shots. He missed some of those. But that is where that explosiveness and that power come from. Y'all heard him say, with little or no setup, that mean the punch is going to come out of anywhere. He's not going to set it up. Let's look at those again.
The artillery, exploding forward with little to no setup. This is, of course, extremely risky, but Tank can help stay safe and increase his odds of landing by adding a lot of variety to his rear hand attacks. Whether he's throwing a cross or a hook to the head or the body, or an uppercut.
Y'all see he
Tank's
in there
accurate
taking
left
them
hand
punches.
is like a heat-seeking missile.
He in there taking them punches. When you up close, when you fight people that close, every time I stop the video, notice how close he is to people. That's his style of fighting. That's how he wins the fights. That most of the fights that he wins, the fights that he's knocked people out, it was this type of situation. They let him get too close. Frank Martin, he cannot make that mistake.
While the uppercut is perhaps his most terrifying shot,
That shit
he
devastating.
has plenty of knockouts with straights and hooks. Needless to say, Tank's opponents have a lot to worry about. But this probably wouldn't work if Tank didn't break another.
You see how he lunged at people. Look at that. Look at how he's lunging at the dude with the left. He getting right up on you.
Another fundamental rule of boxing: ignoring boxing convention to unpin his rear foot and move into his attacks.
That's the lunge. It's unconventional.
While this normally leaves the fighter out of position and overextended, Tank has an answer for that. Expecting a counter, Davis employs a mix of shoulder bumps, frames, and head movement immediately after launching himself into his punch, allowing him to limit his opponent's responses and stifling what should be a golden opportunity for them to retaliate.
All right, that's defense, y'all. That's what I'm saying. He throw them lunges, then he move his hand. If that lunge hit catch you, you're not gonna get a chance to see his defense because the nigga gonna be laying down on the ground. But in these clips that we're seeing, that he's missing the lunges, y'all see the head movement that he's doing afterwards. That's defense. That's a defensive tactic. Because like the modern martial artist said, usually when you lunge like that and you move off that back foot, you're becoming susceptible. You're leaning forward into the nigga. So if you miss, he can do whatever he want to do.
The shoulder bump lets him aggressively take space and unsettle his opponent's base of support. Framing can do the same, but there's more control over repositioning.
All right, now, before we that's a little bit about Tank. Maybe a part 2 later, but before we go too deep into that, let's go back to co-pilot and let's ask about Frank Martin's style before we get into the video of Frank Martin, because it's a good video of Frank Martin too. And this fight is tomorrow night, by the way. So it's gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna be one of the better fights of the year. And it's been some pretty good fights this year. So here, let's get into a little bit about some more information about these fighters and their records.
Certainly. Here are the recent records for both fighters. Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Record: undefeated with 29 wins, 0 losses, and 0 draws. Knockout ratio: 27 of his wins came by knockout, giving him an impressive 93.1% knockout percentage. In his last fight, he defeated Ryan Garcia by knockout in the 7th round on April 22, 2023. Frank Martin. Record: also undefeated with 18 wins and 0 losses. Knockout ratio: 12 of his wins were by knockout, resulting in a 66.67% knockout percentage. His latest victory was a 12-round unanimous decision against Michel Rivera on December 17, 2022. Both fighters are on impressive streaks, and their clash promises to be exciting.
Okay, now, it's definitely going to be exciting. Now, let's see how their styles match up. Then we're going to get into the Frank Martin video, because this is a dude that a lot of people are underestimating, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion. But y'all gonna see his style in a few.
Certainly. Let's delve into how the styles of Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Frank Martin match up. Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Aggressive power puncher, Davis is known for his explosive power and aggressive fighting style. He often presses forward, looking to land devastating shots. Inside fighting, he excels in close-quarters combat, working well on the inside. His hooks and uppercuts can be lethal. Defensive vulnerabilities, however, Davis sometimes leaves openings due to his aggressive approach. His defense isn't flawless, and he can be hit. Frank Martin. Technical and tactical. Martin relies on technical skills and strategy. His footwork allows him to maintain distance and control the pace.
All right, you see that. His footwork, no. Before that, or we're going to get into that too, but before that, they said one of Tank's weaknesses is defensive vulnerabilities. All right, it says his inside fighting He excels in close quarters combat, working well inside. His hooks and uppercuts can be lethal. But they also talked about defensive vulnerabilities. Davis sometimes leaves openings due to his aggressive approach. His defense isn't flawless and he can be hit. Now, that's what we've seen before with the lunging. All right. That's really not conventional. And that's not standard or by the book footwork. All right. You really shouldn't be lunging like that. That can cause issues depending on the type of fighter that you have. Now, okay, let's keep it going.
Counterpunching. Martin
before that, the technical and tactical. Martin relies on technical skill and strategy. His footwork allows him to maintain distance and control pace. All right, so look, boom. Tank Davis is moving forward. Frank Martin maintains distance and controls the pace. One of them is not going to have their way. It can't be both ways. They can't fight close quarters and at a distance at the same time. Somebody's style is going to have to overpower the other ones, and that's going to be exciting to see.
Capitalizes on opponents' mistakes, countering effectively. He's patient and waits for opportunities. Endurance and stamina. Martin's ability to maintain a high work rate throughout the fight is an asset. In the ring, we'll likely see Davis pushing the pace, aiming for early knockouts, while Martin will focus on precision and outmaneuvering his opponent. It's an intriguing clash of contrasting styles.
Exactly. All right. It's a very intriguing clash of different styles. You know what I'm saying? This is very contrasting styles, two completely different fighters, and it's gonna be something to watch. It's definitely gonna be something to see. Now, let's take a look. Who is this? Skiller Boxing. Great video here. We about to get into
Martin's boxing stance and his original.
Now, he broke it down. He talked about his boxing stance, his footwork, his jabbing setup, and some flaws that he have. But right now, for this live, because I gotta get into some more lives. I gotta do more lives today. I'm gonna get into some other things. We just gonna talk about his boxing stance and the footwork. All right. So let's get into his boxing stance.
Skiller fans can get 50% off the program with the link below.
All right, shout out to Skiller.
Now, let's start the breakdown by taking a look at Frank Martin's boxing stance and his original way of using.
Now, look how already Frank Martin, with his hands up, white gloves, look how far away he is from his opponent. Pay attention to what we seen from Tank first, how close he was, to how Martin handling it, how he carrying it.
Using the guard. Boxing stance. When it comes to Martin's boxing stance, we see he likes to
far away
control the action in the ring.
That's controlling the action, keeping you away. Look, he got Buddy in the corner already. I don't know who this man is that he's fighting. This is round one. It's a dude named Luis Ortiz, but I can tell you right now, Luis Ortiz is right where he want him to be. Excuse me, this is not Luis Ortiz. This is somebody else. Duno. His last name is Duno. I guarantee you, Frank Martin has Duno right where he wants him to be. Duno does not need to be right there. He does not need to be in a corner like that. I don't know what's going to happen next, but it already looks like Frank Martin got him where he want him to be.
Working from a wide southpaw stance and probing with his lead hand.
Look at that. Wide stance. He not going to be able to stand like that against Tank. Or, excuse me, Tank is going to try to eliminate that stance. He going to get up close to him. He not going to be able to stand wide like that.
As we mentioned, he has a very original guard. He uses what we have labeled as the mask guard, and you will see.
And y'all notice he's constantly moving. He's constantly controlling the pace of the fight. He's not standing still.
See why. We are used to seeing high guards with hands up at the side or center of the face. We have also seen Philly shells, some more sided using the shoulder as protection and others with the rear hand to catch punches. But when you box as a southpaw or against the opposite stance, you have to find your own methods.
Land so far through 2.
What Martin does is cover his front side of the face, the one that is most exposed, with his lead hand and cover his chin with the rear hand, leaving.
All right, this right here is probably gonna have. This is gonna be how he's gonna have to fight Tank close up. He's gonna have to use this stance right here, that face guard, and then the rear hand down low.
Only his eyes without cover, just like a mask.
Look at that.
As he is usually boxing the opposite stance, the lead hand helps him block his opponent's lead punches.
Mariñez remains right in front of him, a minute left.
That defense is crazy.
And the rear hand will help him block all of his opponent's rear punches.
A lot of creative things in his arsenal. But Martin just takes it.
But we will get more in detail on how exactly he takes advantage of that guard later on in the video.
Now, that right there may be a problem for Tank. It's hard to counterpunch off somebody that defensively sound. It's not going to be easy.
So, let's take a look at his best skills. Footwork as a defense. While he is not known for having an incredible head movement, it is his footwork that makes his defense so good.
Otherworldly power.
Again, footwork as defense, which means what? He's going to be moving. All right, Tank want him to stay there. Tank don't want him to move. Tank want him to bang out with him. Close quarters. He going to be moving, though.
Here, Duno has won 3 fights.
A little bit move, see what he's got, and
Duno tries to press forward, lunging ahead.
earlier, Brian, you know, he's
That's right, Lennox.
yeah,
Hey, look at how he got out that corner, man.
earlier,
Look, he there. That's why they call him Ghost. He in the corner.
Brian, you know,
Now he gone. That quick. Look how far away he is.
he's
That's right, Lennox.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just let him dance in it.
start throwing some short punches where you know it's gonna.
Look how he creates space so quickly. That might be a problem for Tank.
We'll go along. See,
Final 10 seconds.
That was crazy. We gotta look at that again. That nigga whiff crazy.
That's right, Lennox.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
Look at that.
just let him dance in it.
start throwing some short punches where you know it's gonna. We'll go along. See,
Final 10 seconds.
talented.
And by the way, the man we saw 2 weeks ago.
It is really the foundation of his defense, and he uses his footwork to get out of the way and remain untouched.
The balance is crazy. The footwork is crazy, man. This is gonna be a great, great fight. He uses his footwork not just to defend, but also to position himself in the best possible position against his opponent, positioning himself for the counter punch or for some type of setup. Turn him
On it.
around.
But he fought his way out of the corner.
Turn him
Dangerous
around.
angles, fighting with poise and elan, explosiveness about him. You see the physique. You see the shots.
In and out. Look at him
And
moving
you can
all
see just
around.
a real comer. Look at the way.
What stands out, other than the good distance control, is his movement circling his opponents, making justice to his nickname.
Let's look at that again. He used his own body. Look, you see how he grabbed him? He about to swing around to create space. All right. If he does this multiple times during a fight, he can position himself on different sides of him. So when he swing him, once his head come back up, he can take a shot and open him up. He grabbing him. Watch how he swing him to create space.
And you can see just a real comer. Look at the way.
What stands out, other than the good distance control, is his movement circling his opponents, making justice to his nickname. They think, here he is, and suddenly he is not there.
That's crazy. Y'all see him grabbing
They think,
and swinging
here he
people like
is,
that.
and suddenly he is not there.
Look at this grab and swing. Again, behind. Look, he got behind him so quick. Watch, look, behind him. He didn't even know where he was.
And suddenly he is not
He
there.
looked like he scared the dude. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That should never happen. Buddy with the red gloves. You should never be in a position like that where you looking back at a nigga behind you. He don't know what's going on. And look, third round, if you look at the score, third round, Martin done landed 42 punches. Duno done only landed 10. Look at this image on the screen. This is terrible positioning for Duno. He's in a world of trouble right here. Even if Frank Martin didn't punch him and rock his shit, this is psychological. Duno is thinking about this throughout the fight. This is only the third round, and this dude is getting behind me and being in front of me and disappearing. This takes a mental toll on a fighter when you fighting somebody that's this elusive.
His nickname. They think, here he is, and suddenly he is not there.
You see, he lightly grabbing him and kind of swinging him a little bit. Obviously,
Straight left.
You can't grab nobody in boxing. You can't do that. You can't grab people, but you can hold them. You could grab them to a certain extent, but he's more of holding them, but he moving while he holding them. So his momentum is pushing them one way, is pushing him the other way. And he's deciding where he's going, and he's deciding where they're going.
When it comes to his offensive arsenal, without a doubt, the straight left is his most impressive weapon. Incredibly fast and accurate. He can throw it with great precision to the head, and we also see it being really effective to the body, usually feinting upstairs first.
Both of these dudes are big-time body punchers, man. Both of these dudes. All right, let's get back to co-pilot for a minute before we wrap this up. I just wanted to break down the basis of this fight. This was a very basic breakdown, just showing y'all the two different styles is going to face each other. This is going tomorrow night. All right, this fight is on the 15th. It's going to be tomorrow night, so I'm definitely going to go live again talking about this fight before the actual fight. This was just a quick little, you know what I'm saying, breakdown that I wanted to do before the day of the fight. So if any more news come out, then I'll be able to report on that to the day of the fight. All right, so it was a couple of other questions that I wanted to get into, but I want to know, y'all get in the comments, let me know, are y'all betting on this fight? I know a lot of people are betting on Tank Davis. A lot of people betting on Tank Davis. Would I bet on Tank Davis? I probably wouldn't. This is a fight that I probably wouldn't bet on because it's two undefeated fighters. You know what I'm saying? Two undefeated fighters. So you never know, man. You never know. So who is the favorite to win this fight? Who's the favorite to win this matchup? Let's see.
Certainly.
Wait, I think that's the wrong one. Here we go. Who's the favorite to win this matchup?
As of now, there isn't a clear favorite in the Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin matchup. Davis, with his explosive power and championship experience, is likely to be favored by some experts. However, Martin's technical skills, counterpunching ability, and undefeated record make him a formidable underdog. The fight promises to be an exciting clash, and fans are eagerly anticipating how these strengths play out in the ring.
All right, that's a fact. We definitely anticipating this. Let me see if it's anything let's talk about this. Okay. Have they faced any of the same opponents? Nah, I want to get into something else. Let's get into this. What are their recent records?
Certainly. Here are the recent records for both fighters. Gervonta Tank Davis. Record, undefeated with 29 wins, 0 losses, and 0 draws. Knockout ratio: 27 of his wins came by knockout, giving him an impressive 93.1% knockout percentage. In his last fight, he defeated Ryan Garcia by knockout in the 7th round on April 22, 2023. Frank Martin. Record: also undefeated with 18 wins and 0 losses. Knockout ratio: 12 of his wins were by knockout, resulting in a 66.67% knockout percentage. His latest victory was a 12-round unanimous decision against Michel Rivera on December 17, 2022. Both fighters are on impressive streaks, and their clash promises to be exciting.
That's a fact. This is going to be very exciting. Now, like we spoke about before, look at their last fights. Tank Davis, he won because he knocked the nigga out in the 7th round. Frank Martin won on a unanimous decision. He went the whole 12. All right. So that just goes to show you the type of fighters that they are. And they train based on how they expect the upcoming fight to be. So I'm expecting Gervonta Davis has trained for the long run. All right. He's expecting to go as many rounds as it's going to take. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's expecting nothing, for it to end in the 7th or, 5th, 6th round. I don't think he has that mindset. All right. Now, has they faced any common opponents?
As of now, Gervonta, Tank Davis, and Frank Martin have not faced any common opponents. Davis, the WBA lightweight champion, has an undefeated record of 29 wins, with 20.
All right, now that's just the same information we already know. All right, I think that is the quick little breakdown that I want to do. If there's any other if there's anything else that I want to get to in this fight, or if any other notable news comes out, which I'm sure it will. Usually on the day of the fight, some type of news comes out, something pops up. Probably earlier in the day, something is gonna go down. All right, and then this is lightweight. All right, this is a lightweight fight. So yeah, this is it, man. This is pretty much the little quick breakdown I want to do. Just the two contrasting styles. Tank Davis, inside fighter. Frank Ghost Martin, outside fighter. And they nicknames actually tell the story. Tank, a dude that's built, to box close quarters, and Ghost, a dude that move around and is going, try to make his opponent almost dizzy and, not give him a clear direction of where he is or where they at in the ring, man. So this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a good matchup, man. Appreciate y'all watching Urban Artificial Intelligence. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Over 2 million views, 1,800 subscribers. I'm trying to go live every day till I get 2,000 subscribers, man. So if y'all enjoy the content, like, share, subscribe. I'll probably be on live in a few talking about the YSL trial. Did part 1 yesterday. I'm doing part 2 today. Appreciate y'all watching. Peace. I'm going to see y'all next time.